Good evening, boys and girls. How are you this evening? Don't mind me. I'm just making sure that my tools are nice and sharp. What's that? You'd like to hear a story? Well, sure, I've got a story for you. This is about a little girl named Jane. Whenever Jane went out in public, she always wore a yellow ribbon around her neck, kind of like this one. You see, Jane doesn't need it anymore. But let me tell you the whole story. Little Johnny moved in next door to Jane when Jane was about 3 years old. And they always played together. And Jane always wore the yellow ribbon around her neck. As they were kids growing up, Johnny always asked Jane, why do you wear the yellow ribbon around your neck? And Jane never answered him. And they kept growing up together. They went to grade school together. And then they went to middle school. And then they went to high school. And pretty soon, Johnny and little Jane started dating. They started dating in high school. And Johnny always wondered, Jane, why do you wear this yellow ribbon around your neck? And Jane wouldn't tell him. Still, in spite of this aggravation, Johnny thought she was kind of cute. So one day, he asked her out to the soda shop for an ice cream sundae. Have you ever asked your sweetie out to the ice cream sundae shop? And then he asked her to watch him play in the football game. See, Johnny was a football player. And then he started seeing her home. And then come the spring, he asked her to the dance. Jane always said yes when he asked her out. And she always wore a yellow dress to match the ribbon around her neck. It finally occurred to little Johnny that he and Jane were going steady. But he still didn't know why she wore the yellow ribbon around her neck. So he asked her about it yet again. And yet again, she did not tell him. She said, maybe someday I'll tell you about it. Someday. Well, that answer kind of annoyed Johnny, but he shrugged it off because Jane was so cute and fun to be with. Well, time flew past, and it was a habit of doing. One day, Johnny proposed to Jane, and Jane accepted. They planned a big wedding, and Jane hinted that she might tell him about the yellow ribbon around her neck on their wedding day. But somehow, with preparations and his beautiful bride and the lovely reception and the drinking and the dancing, Johnny never got around to asking Jane about it. And when he did remember, she got a bit teary-eyed and said, "We are so happy together. What difference does it make?" And Johnny decided that she was right. Well, Johnny and Jane raised a family of 4 with the usual ups and downs, laughter, tears, and when their golden anniversary rolled around, Johnny once again asked Jane about the yellow ribbon around her neck. It was the first time he brought it up since the week after their wedding. Whenever their children asked him about it, he'd always hush them, And somehow, none of the kids had dared ask their mother, Jane. Mother, Jane gave Johnny a sad look and said, "Johnny, you've waited this long. You can wait a while longer." And Johnny agreed. It was not until Jane was on her deathbed a year later that Johnny, seeing his last chance slipping away, asked Jane one final time about why she wore that yellow ribbon around her neck. She shook her head with a bit of persistence and then said with a sad, sad smile, "Okay, Johnny, you can go ahead and untie it." Well, with shaking hands, Johnny fumbled for the knot and untied the yellow ribbon around his wife's neck. And then, Jane's head fell off.